Rebecca. Earlier you mentioned the STOP technique. I'd love for you to explore and explain a little bit more about that for us.
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. It's one of those techniques that we can use, like you were talking about, like in the waiting room, or, you know, when anxiety is kind of rising up and becoming overwhelming. And so it's kind of the basic, like, STOP, meaning like, you know, S-T-O-P. And so basically the S is stop. You know, sometimes when we have anxiety, we want to rush, we want to push, we want to keep kind of going. And so, you know, if you're about to kind of, you know, go off to an appointment and you're waiting for a scan and you're feeling the lump in your throat and you're feeling flushed and you're rushing out of the car, just stop. Just stop for a moment before you kind of proceed and kind of get out of the car. So that's S, stop. T is take a breath. And again, often, you know, when we get into the stress response, we don't kind of slow things down. So as we were explaining before, breath is the best way of engaging our nervous system into that parasympathetic response. And when we say take a breath, if we could do just 1 full minute of just kind of slowing down and just catching our breath, we get into that shallow breathing and we hold our breath. So just to take that breath and take a 1 full minute if we can, or take 30 seconds of just actually taking a breath. We kind of want to observe, and I always say observe in 2 ways. First, observe what's going on the inside. I'm having racing thoughts, my chest is tight, I feel hot, I feel flushed. You know, just take a moment. You know, my thoughts are kind of very worried. So observe what's going on the inside of us and try and bring a bit of softness to just, okay, I'm feeling very panicked, I'm feeling really overwhelmed. And then observe what's going on around you and your surroundings. So we think about our senses, you know, what can I hear? What can I see? What can I smell? You know, what's going on in our senses. So we did smell. I've lost taste. That might be a trickier one. And so thinking about kind of that, being aware of our surroundings and just observing what's kind of going on immediately around us. And then we want to think about kind of just then thinking about proceeding. But when we kind of feel ready to do so, and we can do these steps quite quickly, we can do them in less than 2 minutes. But just then thinking about kind of how do we then think about proceeding and what's the next thing that we're going to kind of be doing, connecting to my values. I'm really scared about this test result, but you know, I'm really proud of myself that I'm approaching this and I'm not avoiding it, and I'm doing something for myself and my family. And so sometimes with proceeding, if we make that values-based statement about what we're doing and why, and reminding ourselves of kind of the intention, you know, I know that this test brings uncertainty, but I also realize that, you know, this test is going to help me kind of, you know, make decisions, and you know, it's here to kind of support me and my family and what I can do to look after my health value. So thinking about when we proceed, how can we kind of join it back up to kind of something meaningful? Or proceed might be, you know, I'm standing under the shower and I need to kind of take care of myself, and you know, how can I proceed in that, you know, in that direction of taking care of myself at this difficult time and connecting it to that kind of value. So that STOP technique, you know, stop, take a breath, observe what's going on the inside, and then connecting to the outside, and then thinking about how do we proceed in a way that connects meaningfully to, you know, our values and what it is we're trying to do in this moment, or bring to the moment.
That's fantastic. Thank you for explaining that.
Thank you. Thanks, Lisa.